Hello there, welcome back to Cooking with Julie. Today I am making one of my all-time favoriteest meals. Some of my boys too. Some of my boys are really into like mashed, not just mashed, with potatoes. I am making roast beef, potatoes, gravy, and then we're gonna have some carrots and peas. So, so this is what I always do. Like, I get everything I need out, and then I also have like a container with all my scraps of when I peel my carrots, you know, cut off the little nodules on the potatoes and stuff. Then you're not running back and forth to the garbage. You don't have a big heap on your counter, you know, where you're like scooping it up all the time, and it's just less mess. And honestly, it's a bowl. Like, you just one quick little rinse, and it's good to go. So I'm just cutting off all the little kind of rougher looking parts. Any of the little, you know, like I'll just show you, like any of this kind of stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think you would get ill from it, but it's just what I do. Actually, I used to peel my potatoes all the time, because that's the way. One time I tried just doing what I'm doing now, and they were like, you know, we don't like these, blah, blah, blah. So then for years and years, I was like, whatever, it's not a big deal for me to peel them all, that's what I'll do. And then a few years ago, I stopped peeling them, and my boys had come home, and they were like, oh, these potatoes are really good. And I was like, oh, I didn't think you liked them like that. So, saves me a lot of time and effort. My husband and I do not care. So for these size of potatoes, just making sure you can see, I would cut them in half, and then maybe half one more time. Like, that is plenty. Now for myself, I'm kind of prepping everything, and then I'm going to spend, you know, the rest of my time outside till supper. So right now I'm just prepping everything. So to these potatoes, I'm going to cover them, make sure they're completely covered with nice cold water, and you can just set them on your counter till you're ready for supper. Then you're going to drain the cold water, add really, really hot water, and then I will let you know from there what to do. Carrots. Sometimes, you know, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but maybe some people don't know, but cut the ends off, both ends, just give them a little snip. Depending, I mean, if you get fresh carrots from the garden, I mean, you would just leave the skin on. Lately, though, we're just in a small town, we have some pretty rough looking carrot skins. So, pretty dried out and stuff. So anyhow, I'm just going to peel them. It's not a big deal. And then sometimes I just, you know, cut them into chunks like this. And then, my mom used to do this growing up. It takes a little extra work, but you know what? It's a little different. It's a little bit pretty. So I cut them in half. Now I'm cutting them into quarters. Can you see that? Cut them into quarters. And then I just slice, kind of bite-size, right? You know? Now, when we first moved into this house, we went to IKEA. And, you know, I found myself a really good set of pots, all my pots. I have a gas stove, so it's like a really thick rimmed bottom like this, so stuff does not burn very easily. I mean, it can definitely burn. And then lots of them came with like a strainer. So I will put, you know, for now I'm going to put ice cold water over top of these carrots and just let them sit. And then when I'm ready, I'll drain it, put in, you know, like a little bit of hot water, so it's not even touching the carrots. And then I can steam them. And they are like delicious. And then I'll let you know how to finish prepping those. Peas, I'm just going to do frozen. So, I mean, I can definitely help you out on that one too. But that's, now, I have never been told how to make gravy, even how to prep a roast. I mean, my mom is a good cook. She cooked our entire lives growing up for my dad and us children. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of learned on my own. So, what I do, I'm putting 2 roasts in here today. Now, we love wild game. Of course, if I don't have any, I'll definitely buy beef roast. I got no problems doing that. But this is moose. You can, like, it's really, really dark, you can see. But it is excellent. And, you know, everybody likes their roasts done a certain way, which is, you know, fine. Now, for me, I like that I don't even need a knife to cut my roast. It literally, you can cut it with a fork. I mean, that is how absolutely soft it is. Now, my roasts are frozen. The majority of the time, I do cook them frozen. Like, I mean, I did take them out this morning. I guess they sat for a couple hours, so a little easier to get out of the bag, but they're still pretty frozen, which is fine, because I'm just going to put them in the oven, low and slow. So, now, this is for flavor. Take a couple onions, and you do not, you know, I cut my ends off, took the skin off, and then I like to take like one layer. Oh, this was just the skin, that wasn't so bad. Like, for example, like this was the top layer of the skin, and then if I were to do that, this next layer, it's really like dry and tight, and yeah. So I usually peel that next, depending how fresh your onions are, the next layer off, and then just like into chunks. Like this. Can you see that? I'm just slicing them like this. Just into, like, you know, and you don't even have to separate them. Just put them in. We're going to put water in here, and I'm going to do two roasts for my husband and I, and for leftovers. And I don't know if my son's girlfriend's going to want some. I'm not sure, so I thought, you know. And I have a killer stew recipe. So if I have extra roast, like by the time we're done, like if all of a sudden we're full, then I'll just freeze it, like put it in a bag, seal it, freeze it until I'm ready. But if we're kind of like, you know, yeah, let's have some stew, you can use the gravy, like, you know, I will do that at another time. So now, okay, so normally I have a carton of beef stock. This is chicken. So normally I have beef. Apparently I ran out, and I didn't even know it. So, you know, I'm just going to kind of make my own beef stock. So I'm not going to cover the onions, but I probably got a couple inches, because this is going to be my gravy in the end, right? I'm hoping to make some nice, good gravy. So I'm going to sprinkle probably about 2 to 3 teaspoons of beef in a mug. Let's just loosen it up a bit. Here we go. Yeah, like normally if I, like I usually do, have my, you know, stock, I would never put this in there. That's probably lots, because it's pretty salty too. Pepper. Sprinkle a little bit of pepper in there. And everybody has their own, you know, flavor, tongue, whatever. So whatever seasonings. And this is that Greek seasoning again. Like, honestly, it's, can you smell it? I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. And it just adds a little bit of a kick, like, to the gravy, to the roast. It's good. Once it starts cooking, you know, it's going to smell amazing. So, depending, of course, when you put it in, for me, it's going to be in there for the next, you know, probably 4 hours, maybe even 5. I'll kind of check it. So that roast I am putting in the oven right now, and I have it set at 375, and I'm not going to set a timer. I'll probably in the next few hours, I'll just come and check it and maybe flip the roast over, so the top doesn't get, you know, too dry, you know, but anyhow, but it'll be fine. And so that's what I'm going to do for now. When I come back to, probably not to cook everything, but when things are done, I will show you how to make the gravy. I will explain, you know, the times, I guess, for the potatoes and the carrots and the peas. And then what I do with my, like the prepping, what I do after this is all done being cooked. I will show you that. So, have yourself a good day. For you, it'll be 2 seconds. For me, it'll be hours later. I'm probably going to be sweating. It's pretty hot today. So, I'm going to go outside and enjoy the rest of my day. Okay? Thank you very much. Hello again, and welcome back. I have my my peas and carrots and potatoes here. So the peas, I put about 2 inches of water in there. As soon as it came to a boil, I put my peas in there. It's really just however many you want. Like I said, I make enough for leftovers and possibly for stew as well. And I did those for about 12 minutes, I'm going to say. I let them come back to a boil, kind of turn them on simmer for a little bit. You don't really want the peas to start splitting, then they've been in a little too long. They end up kind of rising to the top a little bit, and they smell like, these are actually just like a no-name brand from a co-op here in town, like a great big bag. But they actually taste, honestly, like fresh out of the garden. They're so good. Carrots, I had my little strainer, like I told you. So I put, same thing, an inch or two in the bottom there, with like, and then the strainer, steamed it, about 20 minutes. I always do about 20 minutes. Those are done, and they're hot, and they're fresh. And they smell juicy and sweet, and you know. And then my potatoes, I had drained my cold water, added hot water, put some salt on top. It'll just help bring it to the boil a little quicker. And it kind of adds a little bit of flavor to the potatoes as well. And then those I do like 30, 40 minutes. Now, you want them on a gentle, bring them to a boil for sure, and then kind of put them on a slow boil. I thought for sure, because I just cleaned my stove yesterday, so I was 99% sure it was going to boil over. So I was watching it. That's always what happens. As soon as you clean, that's when everything gets dirty again. So I am going to just start with the potatoes really quick. So I drained the water off of them. About 40 minutes of, you know, boil time. Now what I do is, I think I'm going to take 2. I take my margarine like this, and I actually just put it in the pot, just like that. Just like that. And then I don't really need a whole one for there, so I'm just going to take a little scoop out of it right here. Just so a tablespoon maybe. I'm going to plop that onto my peas. I'm going to take another tablespoon chunk. Put that on my carrots. I'm just going to put the lid on that just for 2 seconds. Then I'm going to put the rest of that on the potatoes like this. Put the lid on just so it all melts and it'll just come off the plastic like nothing, right? Now peas, I put in this little bit of margarine here. When it comes to vegetables, I honestly normally use butter. And I do have my butter sitting out, but I realized I didn't need that much margarine for my potatoes. And all I do for my peas is just kind of sprinkle salt over top. Boom, peas are done. Finished. That is how we prefer / like them. Carrots. Same thing. It doesn't take, like, a little really does go a long way. There's already so much moisture in carrots. This is what I add to my carrots. Brown sugar. Part of my words are coming off there. I'm going to say maybe 2 tablespoons. Like, here's 1. Sprinkle it. They're not heaping by any means. Like, 2. And I don't even mix it. I literally just put the lid on. I'll set it over out of my way for now. And that's it. I'll let those kind of like, as the brown sugar kind of melts in there, it kind of like seasons the carrots too. It's so good. And you, again, a little goes a long way. You don't have to do that. Like, definitely not. Like, I'm kind of more like for flavor. So, you know. Okay, so now I have my margarine, which is almost melted. It'll melt the rest of the way. And I put a little bit of milk. If you can see the bottom of your pot, you know, you definitely want to see the bottom, but, and turn your blender on. See if I can kind of tip it. I'm going to try to tip this just slightly here so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Now, of course, I've made mashed potatoes, but this is a favorite. Oops. all around the sides, kind of go back and forth. And you have whipped potatoes. Now, if you wanted to, I mean, you could make them as thin or as thick as you want. Like, this is kind of the ratio that we have because we put gravy on top of ours. But if you wanted to, you could thin them out some more if you really wanted to. Just by adding a splash of milk. I wouldn't keep adding butter. Might wreak havoc on your stomach, I'm not sure. So that's what I do. I don't really add salt to the potatoes because I season my gravy very, very well. So the next thing I'm going to do is get out my roast, reposition the camera, and then show you the roast and how soft and juicy it is and how I make gravy. And that's kind of like something I've actually never told anyone. So this will be the first time right now I am sharing my gravy recipe. Okay, thank you, and we will see you in a moment. Hello again, welcome back. Who is ready to see this feast here? Let me grab my fork for the roast. A couple onions there on it. Can you guys see that enough? We'll pull it back to here. Oh, this smells so good. It's literally just coming off of my fork. Let's see if we can. I'm going to grab another fork quickly. Sorry about that. I'll try to have everything ready to go. But this is literally like, this is literally going to just fall apart and melt in your mouth. They must be both different cuts. Like this is, you know, I don't know much about that. My son does. Actually, my son does most of our, I mean, we help assist whatever we did for the wild meat. But yes, okay. So what I'm going to do now, I have my, this is hot. I'm just going to kind of show you in here. So I have my drippings, my roast beef drippings and the onions. And what you can do is if you find you don't have enough drippings, you can save the water from your vegetables or even potatoes. Most people do potatoes because it can help thicken as well. To me, I thicken it myself, and I like the water that comes off of the vegetables better. So that was pea and carrot water. Now I'm going to put this all to the bottom. Okay. This is in, I think it's called an immersion blender, I want to say. I've had this for a long, long time. I don't know if I use it for anything else but literally gravy. But honestly, super cheap. I did buy mine like local here in Barhead. My brand is an Oster. It's an Oster. And I paid like maybe $20, $25. I did look on Amazon. They do have it on Amazon for $25. So I can link that below if you would like. So now I turned my element on high. I got a whisk here. Be prepared for some knowledge I've never shared. My eldest son is actually like an extremely good cook. So I've definitely had his gravy. He makes excellent gravy. He makes good ribs. He makes good everything. He's not afraid to whip up a meal, for sure. So now what I do to thicken that up, I'm just going to move some of this stuff on here. I use cornstarch. This is like, I know this is like the brand name, but I've also used like the no-name stuff before. It all works good. I'm just going to set that water aside. If I feel like I need a little more, I will. This is my favorite right here, McCormick's. That's my favorite for sure. I have used the other stuff. I can't remember the brand of it right now. It's not terrible, for sure not, but I like McCormick's. So I'm gonna, I think, put 2 of these in here. You can always add more if you find you don't have very good flavor. I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. I'm not going to add any salt because this gravy, these packages of gravy have a lot of, I didn't read it, but I just know from tasting it, it already has a lot of salt, so I'm not going to bother adding anymore. And then I do have some more like beef in a mug here, which I might add, but I might not. It might be flavorful and salty enough. So to your cornstarch and your packages of gravy and your pepper, add in some water, which I did, and you just stir all that around. I don't have a measurement for you, I'm sorry, but just stir it so it's not super clumpy. Be sure to reach right to the bottom. And ultimately, like even now, by the time you're doing that, it's all mixed, good. Okay, by the time that's done, this is already boiling, which is what you want. You want to bring this to a boil. I don't know if there's a way I could, can I turn this so you guys can see just a little bit more what it looks like? Hang on a second. I'm going to grab a tray. Move this out of the way. Just try to bring me a little bit closer so you can see what oh, it might even stay. Okay. You don't need to see my face. It'll be good. So there's the gravy. Okay. Now I just slowly start pouring it in. Some people like thick gravy. Some people like thin gravy. We like thicker gravy. Not too thick. I kind of knew it was going to be a little thicker because there wasn't a whole lot of gravy left to begin with. But that's probably good. I'm thinking right there. I'm going to turn down my heat a bit and get the last and final ingredient, which is some cream. I just kind of add a splash of that. I never used to actually, but my sister-in-law's parents went there for a meal once, watched her make gravy, saw her put a splash of cream in there, and I thought, that looks absolutely delicious. You know, I mean, I can't say all my recipes are overly, you know, on the healthier spectrum, but let me tell you, they're good. So, taste it. Perfect. No more beef in a mug necessary. If I needed a little bit more flavor and salt, then you could add a bit more beef in the mug. Because this is like really salty, and chicken in the mug, just so you know, if you ever do choose to use it. But that is good. It's delicious. I make gravies, you know, when I go to people's houses lots of times. Lots of times I bring stuff for gravy because they want me to make the gravy. But that works. You know what? If you have any questions, comments, just leave them down below. If you find them like doing things too fast or not explaining good enough, please also let me know. I'm gonna go so we can have supper. My hubby is hungry. He's out in the garage working. I just want to thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Say I love you, and if you have any prayer requests, please put them in the link below. And my encouragement is just to love a little bit more today. Okay? Thank you very much.
Bye.